will bat seventh and play third base. Hitting eighth, making his first National League start in center field, Paul Blair. And batting ninth and pitching for the Reds, right-hander Mike Lacasse. Again for Cincinnati, it's Griffey in right field, Kennedy at second base, and Concepcion at shortstop. Foster in left field, bench catching, DeFreitas at first. With Knight at third, Blair in center, and Lacasse on the mound. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, their leadoff batter was the hero of yesterday's ball game, center fielder Omar Marino. Batting second, the shortstop Tim Foley. Hitting third in right field, Dave Parker. John Milner will bat fourth and play first base. Bill Robinson will bat number 5 for the Pirates and be in left field. Hitting sixth and catching, Ed Ott. Rennie Stedman will play second base and bat seventh. Hitting eighth, the third baseman, Phil Garner. And batting ninth and pitching for the Pirates, left-hander John Candelaria. Again for Pittsburgh, it's Marino in center field, Foley at shortstop, and Parker in right. Milner at first base, Robinson in left field, Ott catching. With Stedman at second, Garner at third, and Candelaria pitching. Yesterday's loss snapped a 3-game winning streak for the Reds, the first defeat they've suffered on this road trip, and facing John Candelaria, a guy who, Joe, over the last couple of years has had physical problems, but apparently has done some pretty good pitching for the Pirates up to this point.
Well, Marty, he pitches extremely well against the Reds. As we pointed out, his lifetime record against the Reds this year is 6-1, and last year it was 2-0 with a 208 earned run average in 13 innings against the Reds. So he's tough, I'll tell you. I think he's lost some of his velocity. He doesn't throw the ball quite as hard as he did a couple of years ago, but he's made up for that with experience and making better pitches when he's ahead of the batters. So Candelaria's a fine left-handed pitcher, and we really got to bear down this afternoon. Right now, our national anthem.
This copyrighted broadcast is authorized and the broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Overcast, threatening day here in Pittsburgh today, and a cold front coming through. The temperature's down in the low 60s as we begin play against the Pirates in the wrap-up to this series. For all you ladies out there, we wish you a very happy Mother's Day, and, well, we're looking forward to maybe coming up with a victory, which has been rare indeed, as Joe pointed out, against John Candelaria, and going home to meet the San Diego Padres tomorrow night with 4 wins in the 5 games played on this trip. Reds are clinging to first place in the Western Division by 1/2 game, thanks to left-hander Kenny Holtzman, who came back for the Cubs to shut out Houston in the second game of the doubleheader last night, 2-0, after the Astro had claimed the first one by a score of 11-3. And, well, that Dodger ball club, Joe, 6 straight wins, 3.5 back, and all of a sudden things are rosy in the Dodger camp.
Well, they're getting some excellent pitching right now and getting the big hits, and they're a good baseball team. You look at it and you say, well, I guess things have turned around for them. They're going to slip. But by golly, about the time you get that feeling, they run off 5 or 6 in a row and they're right back in it. And we got them coming up. So we've been playing good baseball, and, well, we always look forward to knockdown, drag-out game for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But we got a little something to do here this afternoon. Can't worry about it.
Ken Griffey will lead it off for the Reds against the left-hander Candelaria, who will be making his 7th start of the year and his 8th appearance. He has 1 complete game and a .323 earned run average. Griffey batting .313 with 2 homers and 13 RBIs. Had one of the 3 hits that the Reds were able to come up with in yesterday's 3-2 loss. Well, the Candy Man, a big guy, outstanding high school basketball player in New York, turned down a bunch of scholarship offers to turn to professional baseball. He delivers a breaking ball. Griffey slaps it on one hop right back to the mound. The Candy Man throws on to John Milner for the out, and this game is underway. Well, I think right there a good indication of what Joe was talking about a moment ago, the fact that when Candelaria came into this league some years back, he was a power pitcher in every sense of the word, but in the last few years has gone more and more to breaking stuff, and that's what he started Ken Griffey off with. Junior Kennedy takes a fastball inside. Kennedy with 4 hits in the opener Friday night. He's batting .314, has knocked in 2 runs. 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike at the letters, a breaking ball, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Davey Concepcion on deck. Candelaria back to the plate, and Kennedy swings and drives one into center. Marino racing back with his back to the plate, can't get it. Ball goes to the wall. Here comes Kennedy to second base, standing up with a 1-out double. So Junior continuing to swing the bat well as he doubles over the head of Marino in center field, and that'll bring up Dave Concepcion, 5th hit in the series for Junior. And the 6th base hit he's had in 12 times up against Pirates pitching this season. 3rd double of the year for Kennedy. Well, we've talked often about how shallow a center field Marino plays, and that time Kennedy just got into a good pitch and lined it over his head, and now Concepcion will try to get him home with 1 out. Defensively for Pittsburgh, they've got Milner at first, Dennett at second, Foley at shortstop, and Garner at third base. The outfield, Bill Robinson in left, Marino in center, and Dave Parker in right. Ed Ott and John Candelaria, the Pirate battery. .341 batting average for Davey with 5 homers and 24 runs batted in. So Kennedy leading at second as the pitch comes plateward, and Concepcion looks at a breaking ball for a strike. Pittsburgh able to pick up a game yesterday by virtue of their win because the Giants sent Philadelphia down to its 2nd straight defeat. Pirates now 8 back of the Phillies. High with a fastball and outside, 1-1. Montreal a game back. They were beaten by the Dodgers out in L.A. last night in 11 innings, 4-3. Cardinals in 3rd place, 5.5 out, and Chicago 5.5 games out of 1st. Davey swings and tries to go the other way, but fouls it off to the right and out of play, and Candelaria out in front at ball 1 and strike 2. Foster will be up next. Outfield playing Concepcion straight away as Davey climbs back in and levels the bat while Candelaria seeks the sign from Ed Ott. Stretching the pitch. Taken high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Griffey opened the game by bouncing to the mound, but Kennedy doubled to straightaway center. Concepcion waiting the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch from Candelaria, who straightens up, stops, looks at second, and delivers, and that one is bounced to third or in the hole at shortstop. Here's Foley with a long throw and took Milner off the bag, and that's going to be an infield base hit. Kennedy holding at second as Tim Foley came up deep in the hole with that ball and uncorked the throw to Milner that took him to the first home plate side of first base. And Davey has himself a single, and Foster's up with a couple of men on base. Foster batting .341, 5 homers, and a league-leading 28 runs batted in. Not had a great deal of success against Pirate pitching up to this point. Only 2 base hits in 13 tries. Won a home run here on Friday night. He takes it high from the Pirate left-hander. Dick Tremblay, our plate umpire today, with Bob Nelson at first, Joe Schratz at second, and the infamous Mr. Harry Smale over at third. 1-0 pitch. Up and away again to Foster. 2 balls and no strikes. Junior Kennedy out at second base. Dave Concepcion at first. Candelaria has yet to throw a strike here to Foster. George swings on the 2-0 pitch and doesn't get it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reds looking for their 19th victory of the season. They have been beaten 13 times. Foster takes a curve on the inside edge for strike 2, and Candelaria has come back to square things against the Reds power plant at 2 balls and 2 strikes. George questioning Tremblay's call on that particular pitch. So the Pirates and John Candelaria in a bit of a first inning jam with 2 on and 1 out. Here's a pitch to the plate. Foster fouls this one away. Reds have played good baseball here in May, having won 7 out of 10, 6 out of their last 8. And up to this point, really have been a much better road club than they have at Riverfront, having won 9 of 14 games on the road and have won 9 and lost 8 at home. Swung on and hit very high in the air to deep left center field. Bill Robinson goes back toward the warning track, and on it he makes the catch. Kennedy tags up. He'll come on to third, and quite obviously George just missed that pitch. Robinson caught it about halfway onto the warning track in left center field with Kennedy advancing a base. And the 2-out batter will be Johnny Bench. John back in the lineup after sitting out yesterday's game, although did come up as a pinch hitter late and remained to catch the final inning. Batting .207 with 2 home runs and 15 knocked in. Ball 1 to him. Runners at first and third. Kennedy the lead runner. Dave Concepcion over at first. Candelaria lob throwing on to John Milner as Davey gets back in. Candelaria looks for the sign, has it, delivers, Bench takes. That's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Ron Plaza flashing the signs from the third base coaching box. 2 out, 2 men on here in the top of the first inning. Bench is a pitch away from getting a walk as Candelaria comes high for ball 3. So should Johnny get on, it'll be Arturo De Freitas at the plate. Let's see if they'll turn Johnny loose on this pitch if it's to his liking. Bench takes, and he's on with a walk. So Candelaria, with 4 straight out of the strike zone, issues his first walk of the inning, and that loads him up for first baseman Arturo De Freitas. De Freitas in limited playing time, hitting at a .286 clip. No homers and 3 runs batted in. Candelaria will now work out of the windup as he glances over to third where Kennedy leads. De Freitas swings and pulls it foul. Down by the Cincinnati dugout. So Kennedy at third, Concepcion at second, each having hits here in the inning. Junior a double, Davey an infield hit. Johnny Bench over at first base on the strength of the 2-out walk. Pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back, and very quickly Candelaria gets out ahead of the rookie first baseman at 2 strikes. Reds, of course, still playing without the services of 2 starters. Danny Dreesen hopefully will be back in tomorrow night against the Padres, and Joe Morgan, questionable about when he'll be back in the lineup. Just off the plate for a ball. Good pitch. Candelaria thought it was, but Tremblay thought otherwise, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung on and fouled back again. Pirates will have the New York Mets coming to town after this series comes to a close today. They'll be off tomorrow and then open up that series against Joe Torre's club here on Tuesday night. The Reds winning on Friday night with 14 base hits, 8-4, and yesterday Pirate pitching exemplary, giving us only 3 base hits as Pittsburgh won it by a run. DeFreitas strikes out swinging on a breaking ball, and the Candyman is out of it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 3 left. After a half inning, the Reds nothing, and the Pirates are coming to bat.
A smile wakes the sun up to what your world can be. This country road is stretching out as far as I can see. There's no place else I want to be to live the Pepsi way. Rambling in my pickup, I take life day by day. Come on, come on, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on, come on, come on and taste the Pepsi way. This pickup truck is my good friend. There's good times waiting round the bend. Come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and make this day a celebration. Come on and join the Pepsi generation. Come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and taste the Pepsi. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
Don't forget, the Reds will be back home tomorrow night to begin a 6-game homestand, 3 against the San Diego Padres and then 3 against the Dodgers. We'll go tomorrow night and Tuesday night at 8:05 as a starting time, and then Wednesday afternoon for that 12:30 Business Day special. Next weekend, the Dodgers into town. As we mentioned earlier, they're playing 5 baseball right now, having run 6 straight wins off, and, well, only 3.5 games back of the Reds and 1 under 500. Be the Dodgers Friday night at 8:05, a 7 o'clock start, our first 7 o'clock start of the year next Saturday night. And the homestand will wind up next Sunday afternoon. Game time for that one at 2:15. Plenty of seats available for all games, and we hope you're going to be on hand. Mike Lacasse made 2 career appearances against Pittsburgh, losing his only decision. He has done quite a job here in the early going with a 3-0 record and a 291 earned run average, and I think something interesting that certainly bears pointing out is the fact that the Reds have won all 6 of Mike's starts this season. Omar Marino. He was a hero, he was a GOAT, and then the ultimate hero in yesterday's Pirate victory, driving in an early run to give Pittsburgh a lead, then committing an error after Nicosia had overthrown second on the Griffey steal that enabled Kenny to come in to score, but then turned it around once again with that 7th inning base hit off Dave Tomlin that sent the winning run in. Batting .327, and the pitch to him is down low for a ball. It's Marino, the talk of this ball club right now, the way he's been swinging the bat. He swings and he misses. Harry Walker, former Major League manager, now a college baseball coach down in Alabama, did a lot of work with Marino during the offseason to try and improve his hitting, and at least based on what he has done early here in the season, the work with Mr. Walker has certainly paid off. 1-1 the count on him with Foley and Parker to follow. We're scoreless in the bottom of the first inning, and the pitch is taken inside, 2 balls and a strike. Lacasse kicks and throws. Marino swings, ground ball second. Kennedy has it. Quick throw on to first in time for the out. That'll bring up Tim Foley, the Pirate shortstop, hitting at .315 with no home runs and 13 runs batted in. At his first hit of the season against Cincinnati in the 2-game series in Riverfront Stadium after going 0 for 19 to begin the campaign. He, of course, started out the season with the New York Mets and then came over here for shortstop Frank Taveras. Ball 1. Foley takes it high, 2 balls and no strikes. Talking about that opening game against San Diego tomorrow night, Paul Mosco will be the pitcher for the Reds against Gaylord Perry. Tommy Hume will face Eric Rasmussen in the 8:05 game on Tuesday night. Well, Lacasse behind now to Foley at 3 balls and no strikes, and we'll have Bottom going against rookie Steve Mura in the 12:30 Business Day special on Wednesday. Tom Seaver, hopefully he'll be back in the rotation next weekend against the Dodgers. He threw some in the bullpen before today's ball game, and BP also. Here's a pitch. That's a called strike.
Marty, we asked Tom about how he felt, and he said he felt much better today. And Vic Carell was saying he was throwing Vic catching during batting practice and saying he threw much freer.
Foley's on with a walk. Now we got to get Seaver back in there. It looks like Bonham right now is fit as a fiddle after being out for a good part of the year because of those shoulder problems, and threw well here the other night and had no after effects. Get Big Tom back in there, things ought to be in pretty good shape. Foley gets a walk with one out. Here's Dave Parker. Parker hitting at .327. 4 homers and 12 RBIs. Foley taking his lead as Lacoste stretches and pitches, and Parker swings and grounds it up the middle. Concepcion gets there. Nice play! And threw back behind him to Junior Kennedy to get the force out on Tim Foley. Good play by Davey, who actually fielded that ball as it started by him into center field. Was behind the second base bag when he threw behind him to Kennedy to get the force out at second. That brings up John Milner with 2 outs. Milner batting .293. He's hit 5 home runs. One of them against the Reds, and has driven in 18. Now they're getting Paul Blair straightened out in center field. Paul's really going to have to rely a lot on the other outfielders in terms of placement of the various hitters around the league. Pitches off the plate for a ball. Well, Blair making his first National League start today for the Reds. Joined in that outfield by Griffey in right and Foster in left, with DeFreitas, Kennedy, Concepcion, and Knight in the infield at first, second, short, third. Johnny Bench behind the plate, and the count goes to 2-0 on John Milner. No score in the bottom of the first inning. Reds missing an opportunity against Candelaria in the top of the inning by leaving the bases loaded. Lacoste pitches, Milner takes, and that's a ball, 3-0. Bill Robinson on deck. Mike Lacoste needs a strike here against John Milner, and he cannot get it, so Lacoste has surrendered his second walk of the inning. That moves Dave Parker on to second base and brings up Bill Robinson. Robinson hitting .267. Club leader in home runs with 7. He has 15 RBIs. So Dave Parker out at second base. John Milner on at first. Right-handed batting Robinson settles in, and Lacoste set to go to work as he delivers, and Robinson swings and hits one into right field. Ken Griffey running toward the foul line, pulling up and in fair territory, makes the catch to end the inning. For the Pirates, no runs, no base hits, no errors, and 2 left. And at the end of 1 full here in Pittsburgh, the Reds nothing and the Pirates nothing.
Right now, at this very moment, even as I speak, and for a limited time only, you can get a quart of Marathon's new Ultra D 5W40 motor oil entirely free when you buy an Ultra D oil change and a new Marathon aggressor oil filter from a participating Marathon dealer. Make a change for the better. And see what a difference Ultra D can make in your car. Improved gas mileage, better engine protection, easier starts all year long, and you get 1 quart free with the purchase of a complete Ultra D oil change and aggressor oil filter.
Make a change for the better
with new Ultra D.
A change for the better.
And get yourself 1 quart free.
Make a change for the better with new Ultra D motor oil.
From Marathon Oil Company. You know, if I were you, I'd get that free quart of oil right now.
Make a change for the better
with new Ultra D.
A change for the better.
And get yourself 1 quart free.
Ray Knight will start things off for the Reds here in the second inning. Right now, this is the only game going on in the big leagues. We've got 1 doubleheader that'll take place in the American League, pitting Texas At Toronto, other American League single games, Milwaukee at Detroit, Oakland at Boston, California at New York, Cleveland versus Minnesota, and Kansas City at Chicago. Seattle and Baltimore have been rained out. In the National League, the Cubs in Houston finished things off under the dome today with Atlanta at St. Louis, New York at San Diego, Montreal at Los Angeles, and Philadelphia, San Francisco. Here's Ray Knight, and the breaking ball is low and inside for ball one. Ray batting .313. Call strike to him. He had one of the hits yesterday. That was a single, and only 2 times up. All told, was on base 3 times with a couple of walks in addition to the single. 2 balls and a strike to him. Paul Blair on deck. He'll be followed by Mike Lacoste. So the Reds are sending up the bottom third of their batting order here in the second. Inside corner fastball for a taken strike, and Ray displaying his disgust at the call by plate umpire Dick Tremblay. Swung on and grounded to third base. Up throwing Phil Garner, and in plenty of time. Now's the time to start working on that banner you're going to be entering in the Reds Banner Day Parade when the Reds meet the Phillies June 3rd. For Banner Day rules and information, if you don't already have them, just give a call or write the Reds office at Riverfront Stadium. Banner Day, June the 3rd, when the Reds take on the Phillies at Riverfront. Here's Paul Blair for his first National League at bat. He looks at a strike. Blair, right-handed batter, as the count evens to him at 1 ball and 1 strike. What a distinguished career this man had in the American League with the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. Very vital cog in that great Baltimore team in the early 70s, late 60s. 2-1 to him. Got in as a pinch runner in the series at Chicago, but has not been to the plate up until now. He swings and hits a 2-1 pitch very high in the air, back at second. Rennie Stennett backpedaling in shallow center and gathers it in for the second out. So with 2 down, pitcher Mike Lacoste will step in. Lacoste takes a strike. Well, Mike stepping well away from the plate and taking a couple of practice swings while Candelaria waits on the mound. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on a broken bat nubber into shallow right field. It'll fall for a base hit. Third Cincinnati hit as we pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
I can't believe it.
$1,000 winners are still doing it on WLW Cincinnati.
The Cincinnati Reds Stadium ticket office is open today until 5:30. Stop by, park free on the plaza, and pick up your tickets in advance for those big games coming up at Riverfront Stadium.
Well, Mike Lacoste has come up with a 2-out broken bat single to right field. That allows Ken Griffey to come to the plate for the second time. He hit the game's first pitch on 1 hop back to the mound. So the Reds now with 3 hits in the game, with a double by Kennedy and an infield hit by Concepcion in the first inning, and now the single by Lacoste in the second. Low and away, as Ott does a nice job of keeping that ball out in front of him. Well, I guess any time that John Candelaria starts against our club here at Three Rivers, it conjures up memories of that playoff game of 1975 here. Swung on and drilled to left field. Robinson toward the line and makes a running catch. So in the second for Cincinnati, no runs, a hit, and 1 left. And after an inning and a half, the Reds nothing and the Pirates likewise.
Do you know everything Christmas is?
Mother's Day from Frisch's. No mom should have to cook on her day. Treat yours to a delicious meal at Frisch's. The whole family will enjoy the big selection and superb service Frisch's is famous for. Make this Mother's Day an extra special one. Relax and dine with the good people at Frisch's.
Come see the good people at Frisch's. Cause Frisch's has so much more. Frisch's has so much more.
Planning a vacation trip this summer? Well, if you haven't made any definite plans, all you know that you're going to take one, think about Cincinnati, a great place to visit. A lot going on in the Queen City, including all the fun and excitement of Cincinnati Reds baseball. And, of course, in the summer months, we've got some big ball games coming up at the riverfront. Whether you're just passing through town or you're planning to spend a few days in Cincinnati, make sure you do it when the Reds are in town so you can catch a ball game. Call or write the Reds office at Riverfront Stadium. They'll be happy to provide you with schedule and ticket information. Here in the bottom of the second for Pittsburgh, Ed Ott will start things off. Ott hitting at .274 with a couple of home runs and 7 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Rennie Stennett and then Phil Garner. Lacoste with a pitch and Ott with a swing and a miss. Swung on and drilled into center field. That's a base hit. Blair up with the ball quickly as Ott takes a turn, and he's on here to lead off the second for Pittsburgh as the Bucks come up with their first hit. Rennie Stennett making his way toward the plate, hitting at .237 with no home runs and 8 runs batted in. Taking a short lead at first. Lacoste stretches and delivers. Stennett swings and fouls out of the middle. Johnny Bench. Well, our Western Division race certainly beginning to considerably tighten up. The Reds a half game up on Houston. Dodgers 2.5 games back. And San Francisco only 3 back. So a 3-game separation between the first place team and the fourth place club. Swung on and shot foul down the right field line. San Diego 6.5 games out of first, and Atlanta in the basement 7.5 games back. And it's tight at the top over here in this National League East race with a 1-game separation between first place Philadelphia and second place Montreal. Both the Phils and the Expos have fallen on hard times in the last 2 games on the West Coast. Swinging a foul. Giants have defeated Philadelphia 2 straight. And, of course, the Dodgers have claimed 2 wins in a row against Montreal. No balls and 2 strikes and holding on Stennett. Out at first, none out in the home second, and no score in our game. Lacoste pitching, and Stennett fouls another one off to the right. Infield looking for the ground ball. Here's a strike 2 pitch again, and Stennett swings and grounds it back to the mound. Lacoste goes to Concepcion, Davey to DeFreitas, and that's a double play. Mike had to look into his glove to make sure the ball was there before picking it out and throwing on to Concepcion to begin the double play. So with 2 out in the inning, the batter will be Phil Garner. Garner hitting .228. 1 home run and 5 RBIs. He takes a strike. That's in there for strike 2 call. And the 0-2 pitch. Blowing outside a ball to Garner. Mike Lacasse, after his 4th straight win of the season, he's in at 3-0. This one fouled away. Right now, the most effective starter the Reds have in their rotation in terms of wins and losses, and at earned run average, it stands at 291. He's even now on Garner at 2 balls and 2 strikes. John Candelaria would be the next batter up for the Pirates should Garner reach here with 2 out. Ed Ott had a single to begin the inning, but then extended it into a 1-6-3 double play. Inside the full count to the Pirate third baseman. And the payoff pitch, and that one is popped in the air back in shallow left center. Davey going back, Blair coming in. It dropped for a base hit. That ball falling among Concepcion, Blair, and Foster. A flare for a hit for Phil Garner. Second hit in the inning for the Pirates. They're second in the game, and Mike Lacasse will now be dealing with his opposite number, John Candelaria. Candelaria 1 for 14 so far this season. He has a double as his only base hit and has driven in a couple of runs. Pitching and swung on at a high bouncer towards second. Kennedy charges, has it, and underhands to the waiting DeFreitas to wrap the Pirates' second inning up. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. And going to the third, the Reds nothing and the Pirates nothing.
How would you like to visit the new Olympic Stadium in Montreal and watch your favorite team play ball there? The Stroh Brewery is delighted to give you the exciting details of a fun-filled trip sponsored by the Red Rooters Club. The action begins Saturday, June 16th, with a meeting between the Expos and the Reds. You'll enjoy dinner at a leading Montreal restaurant. Then on to Cooperstown, where you'll visit the National Baseball Hall of Fame and the Farmers Museum and Village. From Cooperstown, you'll be on your way to 2 exciting days in New York City, Fun City, USA, where you'll receive orchestra tickets to a hit Broadway musical. While in New York, you'll be able to cruise around Manhattan Island on the Circle Line and dine at a famous New York restaurant. Your New York stay will be topped off with a Stroh's hospitality party where you'll have plenty of Stroh's beer. Now, this trip promises lots of fun and plenty of entertainment. So for reservations, call the Barney Rapp Agency at 513-381-7277. 513-381-7277. It's going to be great, just like Stroh's beer.
Well, after 2 scoreless innings, we move on into third inning play, and the Reds will have Junior Kennedy to start things off against John Candelaria. Here with a play-by-play, Joe Nuxall.
Thank you, Marty. Junior, a 1-out double in the first inning, moved to third on a fly ball off the bat of George Foster, deep left, but left stranded there as Bench walked to load the bases, and then Arturo DeFreitas struck out to end the inning. Each team with the Reds with 3 hits. The Pirates have had 2. Kennedy's double, Concepcion's infield single, and Lacasse's single in the second inning with 2 out. Candelaria has struck out 1, walked 1. Kennedy, Concepcion, and Foster here in the third for the Reds. Kennedy came into the game hitting .314 with 2 RBIs and now has 3 doubles. Candelaria standing down behind the pitching rubber and now goes to the rosin bag and steps on and checks in with his catcher, Ed Ott. The wind and the pitch. Kennedy takes slow and inside a ball. Junior has done an outstanding job filling in for Joe Morgan, just as he did last year. 1-0 delivery. Slow curve, a bit high, and Candelaria wanted that one. 2 balls, no strikes to count to Kennedy. Tomorrow night, the Reds and the Padres open a 3-game series at Riverfront. Candelaria, the 2-0. Junior swings, ground ball right between Candelaria's legs into center field, a base hit. So that is hit number 6 for Kennedy in the series. He had 4 Friday night, scored 4 times. Kennedy leads it off with a solid single into center. That brings Dave Concepcion to the plate. Dave, he singles a deep short in the first inning. Concepcion, a .341 batting average. Dave now with 46 hits on the year. Candelaria delivers. Concepcion looks at a breaking pitcher called strike. Kennedy leads at first. Candelaria to the belt. Throws over to first. Kennedy steps back. Reds now with 4 hits in the game. Candelaria ready and delivers. Inside, a breaking pitch. 1-1. Time called now as Ed Ott goes to the mound to have a word with Candelaria. Concepcion, 5 home runs and 24 RBIs. He's second to George Foster in RBIs. He and George tied in home runs with 5 apiece. The club lead. Candelaria the stretch. And the pitch. Kennedy goes. The pitch is swung on and bounced up the middle. Foley can't get to the bag. Throws quickly to Milner. They get Concepcion, but Kennedy reaches second safely. Foley took a step toward the second base bag, but thought better and threw on to Milner to retire Concepcion. 1 out. Kennedy now at second, and George Foster the batter. George just missed in the first inning, hitting a fly ball to Robinson on the warning track in deep left field. One out with Kennedy at second. Now Foster backs away from the plate as Candelaria goes into the stretch. George back in. Candelaria waiting on the sign from Mott. The stretch. And the pitch. Swung on. That's popped up right side. Foul territory. Ott and Milner. Milner over near the railing and has plenty of room. Makes the play. 2 away, and Johnny Bench the batter. John walked in the first inning. Bench hitting .207 with 2 home runs and 15 RBIs. Kennedy at second base with 2 out. Candelaria delivers. Bench takes on the outside edge. A called strike. Ott flashes a sign. Candelaria back to the plate, down low with a breaking ball. 1-1. Now we had a crowd of 18,745 here yesterday, and 14,115 Friday night. A 1-1 to Bench. John takes it low and outside. 2 balls to strike. And this afternoon, well, pretty good crowd. Two-one delivery. Bench takes it. Cost him strike 2 at the knees and the outside edge. Count evens 2-2. Ott hangs the sign. Candelaria sets and delivers. That's swung on and popped foul back and into the upper deck. On holds 2-2. Kennedy at second with 2 out. 2-2 the count to Bench. The Stretch the pitch. John swings and again fouls out of play. Reds playing their 32nd game of the year. They've won 18, lost 13. Pirates in their 29th. Again, the 2-2. Bench swings and fouls straight back to the screen. Pirates winning 12 and losing 16 on the year. Again, the 2-2. John swings, ground ball. Garner at third. Deep, long throw to Milner, and that's the inning. For the Reds in the third, no runs, a hit, no errors. A runner left on base, and at the middle of the third, it's the Reds nothing, the Pirates nothing. Pittsburgh will send up the top of the order here in the third inning. Marino, Foley, and Parker. Marino leading off the game for the Pirates, grounded to Kennedy at second base. Mike Lacoste has walked two, and the Pirates have had 2 hits off Mike. Both hits coming in the second inning, one by Ed Ott, the other by John Candelario. Or make that by Phil Garner. Marino, Foley, and Parker. Marino hitting .333 with 14 RBIs, 3 doubles, and 4 triples. Marino, a left-handed batter. Mike Lacoste looking for his 4th straight win. This is 7th start of the year. All right, Marino steps in. Lacoste looks into bench for the sign. Mike into the wind and delivers. Marino swings and hits it into left field. Along the line, Foster is there, and about 6 feet in fair territory, George makes the catch. One away, and here's Tim Foley. Foley walks in the first. Foley, .348 batting average. The pitch, he takes a fastball, a called strike. Tim with 13 RBIs. Lacoste, the 0-1. And strike 2 called, and quickly Mike in front, 0-2 to Tim Foley. Cross winds, delivers. There's a breaking pitch, a check swing foul off the bat of Foley. Mike working ahead of the batters. Coming into this afternoon's game, Mike had walked 13 batters in 39 innings. Swing and a line drive right at Dave Concepcion. Soft liner. 2 away, and the batter will be Dave Parker. Parker forced Foley at second base in the first inning. Big Dave hitting .327, 4 home runs, 12 RBI. Across the pitch. Inside with a slider. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Parker swings ground ball. That's short. Dave Concepcion has it to DeFreitas, and for the first time in the game, the Pirates are out in order. And after 3 here at Pittsburgh, the Reds nothing, the Pirates nothing. For the Reds in the bottom half, the top of the 4th inning, it'll be Arturo DeFreitas to lead it off, followed by Ray Knight and Paul Blair. DeFreitas struck out to end the first inning. Arturo hitting .286 with 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. The Reds with 4 hits off Candelaria, 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, but they have not been able to put anything on the board yet. Stranded 5 base runners, 3 in the first inning. Arturo DeFreitas is making his way to the plate. steps in. Candelaria steps onto the pitching rubber and checks in with his catcher, Ed Ott. Now they ask second base umpire Joe Schartz to move a bit. The pitch. DeFreitas swings on it and fouls it back and out of play. On one to count. Candelaria winds, delivers on the outside edge, but a bit high, and it evens 1-1. Here's the 1-1, and DeFreitas swings and fouls a breaking ball that's in on him. Down goes the ball, 2 strikes. Ray Knight, the on-deck batter. Candelaria shakes off a sign from Ott, and now the 1-2 delivery. Missing outside with a fastball. 2-2. Candelaria delivers the 2-2 high and outside. Full count now to DeFreitas. Candelaria ready with the payoff. Here it is. DeFreitas swings on it and pops it foul behind the plate. That one's going to drop onto the screen. Count holds 3-2. DeFreitas to the on-deck circle with the rosin bag, and now makes his way back to the plate. And again the 3-2. DeFreitas swings and fouls, and that ball almost by Art. A wind and the pitch. DeFreitas swings and misses a high fastball, and that's the second strikeout for Candelaria, and the second time he has gotten Arturo DeFreitas. A 1 away, and here's Ray Knight. Ray grounded to Garner at third base, leading off the second inning. Ray hitting .306. He's had 34 hits on the year. Pitch to him, and inside a ball. Candelaria throwing a lot of breaking pitches. Well, you got DeFreitas on a fastball up. Candelaria winds the 1-0, and Knight takes a strike. Fastball on the inside edge. 1-1. The 1-1 delivery. Knight swings, bounces it up the middle. Foley behind the bag has it. Running throw in the dirt. Dug out by Milner. Good play, and that is out number 2. Foley going behind the bag at second, and on the run, threw low to John Miller, and John picks it out of the dirt, and 2 away, and Paul Blair the batter. Blair popped out to Stennett in the second inning. Candelaria into the wind, the pitch. Blair takes it, low a ball. Blair, a right-handed batter. A 1-0. Swung on, that's foul. Off to the right side, back into the seats. 1-1. Two out, the base is empty. No score here in the fourth inning. Candelaria delivers. Blair swings and fouls down the right side, back into the seats. The count 1-2 to Paul Blair. Outfield straight away. Candelaria the 1-2. missing outside, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 to Blair outside. 3-2 now to Paul. Mike Lacoste on deck. And Valeria has his sign and the payoff to Blair. Swung on, line, foul. Boy, not by much along the left field line. That ball out foul by more than 2 inches. Oh, just a strike, and right now we'll pause for station identification. This is the Reds Radio Network.
$25,000. You might win it. Listen to WLW Cincinnati.
The Cincinnati Reds are back at Riverfront Stadium Tuesday night. The Padres visit for 3 games. Then it's the Dodgers for a big weekend series. Plenty of seats available. Be on hand.
There's ball 4, low and outside to Blair, and he moves on to first base, and Mike Lacoste steps in. Mike owns one of the 4 base hits the Reds have had off Candelaria. A little looping single into right field in the 2nd inning. The second walk issued by Candelaria. The stretch and the pitch, and Lacoste bluffs the bunt and takes a strike on the inside edge. Apparently Mike with a bat that is broken. He's going back to the dugout to choose another. Nothing else going on in either league at the moment. Texas and Toronto are underway now, and also Milwaukee, Detroit. No score after an inning and a half at Toronto, Texas. First game of a doubleheader, and after 1 at Detroit, no score. Candelaria to the belt, delivers. Cross takes high and outside, and the count evens 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Bunt to third base side, charging Garner. He has plenty of time. Throwing to Milner, and that's the inning. The Reds in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors. A runner left on base, and at the middle of the 4th, Cincinnati nothing, Pittsburgh nothing.
The sun is bright, the feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh for the real beer lover. Stroh tastes like no other. Stroh for the real beer lover.
Don't just sit there and wait for the 7th inning to stretch. Stretch out for a great tasting Stroh's beer right now. After all, you're into a good Reds game, so sit back and get into a nice cold Stroh's. Stroh's beer for the any inning stretch.
Stroh for the real beer lover. Stroh tastes like no other. Stroh for the real beer lover. From one beloved to another Stroh.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Pittsburgh in the 4th inning will send up John Milner, Bill Robinson, and Ed Ott. Milner walked in the first. He owns a .293 batting average with 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, 4 doubles, and 1 triple. Pirates have had 2 hits off Mike Lacoste. He has walked 2. 2 hits coming in the 2nd inning, a single by Ott and a single by Garner. Reds have turned in a double play. Rennie Stennett bouncing back to the mound in the 2nd, and Mike starting a 1-6-3 double play. All right, Milner at the plate. Lacoste ready to go to work. He winds and delivers. Milner slings, and a 2-bouncer to Kennedy at 2nd. Junior on to DeFreitas. 1 out. One away, and Bill Robinson, the batter. Bill, a fly ball to Ken Griffey along the right field line in the 1st. Bill hitting .267. He leads the Pirates in home runs with 7. 15 RBIs and 4 doubles. Robinson, a right-handed batter. Across the pitch. Inside and bounces away from Johnny Bench. rolling over toward the Pirate dugout. 1-0. Toss off the mound, now back onto the pitching rubber, and is 1-0 to Robinson, who's swung on and bounced foul off the third baseline. Now it evens 1-1. Mike rubbing up the new baseball. Now steps onto the pitching rubber and delivers the 1-1 to Robinson. Inside, and Bill has to scoot out of there in a hurry. 2-1. Two-one pitch. Swung on, hit the right field. Drifting back is Griffey. Kenny waiting on it and takes it in for the second out. That brings Ed Ott to the plate. Ott singled to center in the second inning, leading off. Toss delivers to Ott. Ott swings and chops it foul off the first base side. On one the count. Ott, a left-handed batter. The 0-1 swung on and missed. Good fastball up, and Mike Lacoste in front 0-2 to Ed Ott. Ott away from the plate. Now back in, and Lacoste winds and delivers the 0-2. Pitching outside with a fastball. A ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 delivery. Swung on, and that's popped up in the infield. Dave Concepcion will make the catch near the second base bag, and Mike Lacoste has now retired 7 straight batters. Nothing across, and after 4, the Reds nothing, the Pirates nothing. 4 inning total show the Reds no runs, 4 hits, no errors. The Pirates no runs, 2 hits, no errors. For the Reds, it'll be Ken Griffey to lead it off in the 6th inning, and back to the action, Marty Brenneman.
Thank you, Joe. Kenny 0 for 2 so far, and 2 shots at Candelaria. His bounce back to the mound is also flied out to left field. Well, the Reds have had scoring opportunities and have not been able to cash in as yet, having stranded a total of 6 men on base, 3 in the first and 1 each in the last 3 innings. Okay, Candelaria all ready to go to work, but so far Griffey has not come out of the Reds' dugout. Plate umpire Dick Tremblay looking in there and wanting to get it underway here. 4 innings of scoreless baseball in the final game of this series. Well, at the end of 2 at Toronto, Texas nothing and the Blue Jays nothing. Milwaukee and Detroit, Tigers have scored 7 times in the bottom of the second, and that's the report that we have gotten from our sports ticker. To wait and see if that's a mistake or if that's a fact, because we didn't note any pitching change. Griffey's up there now. Candelaria waiting for him to climb in and get the 5th inning underway. Kenny ready, and here comes the left-hander's first pitch. Bluffs the butt, takes the breaking ball for a strike. Griffey, Kennedy, and Concepcion here in the 5th. Candyman kicks and fires. Kenny takes inside. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now we talked to George Sugar on our Touching Bases pregame show today, the manager of the Nashville Sounds, and visited briefly by telephone last night with Mike Compton, the manager of the Tampa Tarpons in the Florida State League. Kenny swings and fouls it off. That club going extremely well. They've run off 5 consecutive wins last night behind the pitching of Randy Town, who won his 4th game in 5 decisions, defeated Dunedin 6-2. Town at one point in the game retired 15 batters in a row. Missing outside and high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So things are going very well in Tampa, where that club is 16-10 and playing good baseball. 2-2 pitch on the way to Ken Griffey, and that's ball 3 high. Kenny had a notion, but held up in time, and now they look to Mr. Smale down at third base. I don't know how the plate umpire could even request a backup ruling on that pitch. But the count's full on Kenny. Candelaria has walked a couple of batters in the game. He has struck out 2, getting DeFreitas twice, walking Bench in the first and Blair in the fourth. Here's a 3-2. Swung on and hit very high in the air in shallow right field. Stennett has started back, but Parker calls him off, and Dave will make the catch. So Ken Griffey continues to struggle at the plate with one guy. He is perfect hitting Junior Kennedy. Double to center in the first, single to center in the third. Kennedy takes a high curveball. Junior's had a total this season of 11 base hits, and 7 of those 11 have come against Pirate pitching. Fastball over, call strike. 1-1. High and outside for a ball. Candelaria behind to Kennedy. 2-1 the count. Reds have had 4 hits. The Pirates have had 2. Had a big offensive game here on Friday night, but yesterday's game tight, and it looks like this one is going to be much the same way. Swung on and grounded to third, right down the line. Garner from behind the bag. Let's go with a wild one. Threw it over the head of John Milner, and Kennedy will be on with 1 out. It'll be a throwing error charged against Phil Garner. And a long way to unload that throw, and fired it completely over the leaping John Milner at first base. So the first error of the game goes to Pittsburgh, and in will be Dave Concepcion. If you missed out on getting a cap on Cap Day in Riverfront, you can purchase one at the Reds 580 gift shop or send $4.50 to Reds Cap, 100 Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. That price includes both postage and handling. So Kennedy has been on 3 straight times. Davey 1 for 2, an infield hit to shortstop his first trip to the plate, and then grounded out to Foley in the third. Davey takes that slow curve for a strike. Pirate infield, a double play depth. Concepcion takes it high and off the plate. So Davey batting .343. He continues to lead the National League in runs scored. And boy, what a road trip this man has had. Scored a total of 29 runs, and of course has driven in 10 runs on the trip. Had 4 RBIs here on Friday night with a 2-run home run and a 2-run triple. And the game prior to that, the suspended game in Chicago on Thursday afternoon, knocked in 3 runs. So Dave Concepcion really swinging a hot bat. Here's a check of Kennedy, the pitch, taken for a strike. Davey started to go, and that cost him as the Pittsburgh left-hander gets out in front at 1-2. Foster on deck with 1 out, and a scoreless game here in the 5th inning. Candelaria throwing to first, and Kennedy back. The look again, and the pitch swung on and fouled away off first. Back to Riverfront tomorrow night, 8:05 against Roger Craig's the San Diego Padres. Davey takes strike 3, and he knew it. Candelaria working the inside part of the plate at the letters. Although Davey apparently wasn't exactly in agreement with that call after all, as he said something to Dick Tremblay, and Crowd starts to get on Concepcion a little bit as he heads on back to the dugout and then brings up George Foster. So Candelaria has strikeout number 3 of the afternoon. Foster is flied to deep left center and popped up foul to first. Swung on and hit in the air back of first base, and that ball tailing out of play. Well, we noted with sorrow in the Pittsburgh paper this morning the passing of Clyde Klutz, the director of player development from the Baltimore Orioles. 61 years old, Clyde died at his home in Salisbury, North Carolina. Fine man and a man who's devoted over 40 years to baseball, both as a player and an administrator. The strike 2 call. John Mullen, out of the Houston front office, tentatively accepting the general manager's job with the Atlanta Braves. What that tentatively means, I don't know, but that's the way they worded it in the paper here this morning. Foster takes it inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down in the inning. Kennedy reached first base with 1 down on the throwing error by Garner. Concepcion called out on strikes. Foster waiting as Junior takes a short lead at first. Candelaria sends it in, and Foster swings and grounds down the third base line. Garner, another long throw. This one in the dirt and off Milner's glove. And that's going to be the second throwing error of the inning on Phil Garner. So Phil Garner charged with his second throwing error here in the 5th inning as he bounced that one in the dirt in front of John Milner after throwing over Milner on the ball that Kennedy hit. So the Reds with a couple of more men on base again. 5 straight innings now they've had people on against Candelaria, but the credit to John, he's been able to get the job done when he's forced to do it. And that's the situation again now with Johnny Bench stepping in and Kennedy at second and Foster at first. Bench has walked and bounced out to third. Takes it high for ball 1. John batting .205. His club 2 home runs up to this point. Has knocked in 15 in a slow start. Curve is in at the letters for a called strike, 1-1. Of course, we can think back to last year when John missed almost a month early because of that back of his, and then came back wearing a corset and really stung the baseball over the second half of the season. So you got to figure he's going to get started. He swings and loops one into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Here comes Kennedy around third. He's going to score, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead. Bench with a single into shallow left field to pick up his 13th run batted in, making his 16th. And the Reds lead at 1-0 as they take advantage of a couple of errors by Phil Garner to get an unearned run in. Now Arturo De Freitas, who's due. He's been up 2 times, and Candelaria has struck him out on both occasions. Swung on and popped up on the left side. Garner calling for it, and he'll get a big round of applause when he makes the catch. That's all for the Reds in the 5th inning, but 1 run on 1 hit, 2 Pirate errors, and 2 men left on at the end of 4 1/2. The Reds won, and Pittsburgh nothing. Now the Reds have scored a breakthrough, getting 1 run across against Candelaria, as Mike Lacasse will face the bottom third of the Pittsburgh batter. He's retired 7 straight. Not allowing anybody to reach since Garner's single in the second. He's facing Stennett, Garner, and Candyman here in the 5th inning. The pitch to Rennie Stennett, taken outside and high. He bounced into a double play back in the 2nd inning after Ott led off with a base hit. Swung on and drilled to straightaway center field. Paul Blair getting back there and under to make the catch. One down for Garner. not very well received right now. Pretty good ball player, this guy. Did a good job for Oakland and certainly has done the same here at Pittsburgh. He swings and grounds foul off third. As we mentioned yesterday, there really seems to be a growing feeling here that sooner or later Chuck Tanner is going to move Phil to second base and put rookie Dale Berra at third. Rennie Stenton, of course, not hitting very well and having a hard time in coming back from that broken ankle. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's low and away for a ball. Rennie suffered the unfortunate incident a couple of years ago and really not the same ball player now that he was before. He was one of the outstanding hitters in this league, a fine second baseman. Here's a drive in the deep left center field. Garner might have redeemed himself. Blair looking gone. Well, Phil Garner turns the boos to cheers as he cracks his second home run of the season. That ties the game up at 1-1. Now, many times have you seen that happen, and we witnessed it again today. Candelaria steps in now, and we're tied at a run apiece. That only the third Pirate hit. Candyman swings and misses. Grounded out to Kennedy in the second. That one a jam job that has him swinging and fouling off to the left. Count quickly goes to 2 strikes. So Lacasse serves up a home run ball to Phil Garner. But to Mike's credit, that's only the second home run that he has given up the entire season. Swing and a miss, that's his first strikeout. Leadoff batter Marino will step in. He's grounded out to second and flied out to left. Well, there are more than 100 cities served by the Reds Radio Network this season, including Lima, Ohio, on WIMA, Crawfordsville, Indiana, by WCVL, Stuart, Florida, by WSTU, and Livingston, Tennessee, by WLIV, AM and FM. 2 away with a run in. Reds 1, the Pirates 1, Marino. A couple of hits and a couple of runs batted in yesterday. Now the 2-out batter with the bases empty. Check swing, and it's ball 1. Danny Bench doing something back of the plate, apparently finding a rock or something embedded in the dirt behind the plate, so digging that out with his spikes. Settles back in behind the plate and hangs the sign for Mike Lacasse. The pitch to Marino swung on and drilled to center field, but there's Blair, and he makes a catch. In the inning for Pittsburgh, 1 run on 1 hit. And after 5, Cincinnati won and Pittsburgh won.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lovers.
You've heard of the 7th inning stretch, but what about the any inning stretch? Well, that's the Stroh's beer stretch. It's the time when you want to enjoy a great tasting beer just as much as you want to enjoy a well-played game of good old country hardball. So take your 7th inning stretch right now and stretch out for a nice cold Stroh's. Stroh's beer for the any inning stretch.
Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another. Stroh's. Stroh's. The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Joe Nuxall and Marty Brenneman back at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh as we move into the 6th inning. Inning number 5, a scoring frame for both teams. Johnny Bench driving home Junior Kennedy with a 2-out hit to left, and Pittsburgh answering that with a solo home run off the bat of third baseman Phil Garner. Right now, before Ray Knight steps in, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
You might win $25,000. Details on WLW Cincinnati.
See the Cincinnati Reds at Riverfront Stadium. Reds baseball is big league action all the way, and it's the best sports entertainment bargain in town.
Ray Knight in the ball game is 0 for 2, is grounded to third, is bounced to short. Tim Foley going behind second in the 4th inning to grab that ground ball off Ray's bat, and Milner making a nice pickup out of the dirt to complete the put out. Here's the pitch to him, and he looks at ball 1. Well, Lou Brock became today the 19th player in Major League history to reach 10,000 times at bat when he flew out in the 1st inning today against Atlanta. Line drive hit to left for Knight. Reds have had a hit in every inning, with the exception of the 4th, and base runners in every inning. Here's Paul Blair. He popped up in the 2nd inning and came back to get a walk in the 4th after lining one over third base that just missed being a fair ball by a couple of inches. Takes a pitch away for ball 1. Reds are trying to retain their hold on first place this afternoon, and they can assure themselves of doing that with a victory here. The Cubs and Houston going at it again down in the Astrodome. 2 balls and no strikes. Looking at Knight at first base, Candelaria pitches, and Blair swings and lines one down the right field line, but tailing foul and untouched by Dave Parker as the ball took one bounce and then kicked into the Cincinnati bullpen. Well, he was saying the other day when they heard about the acquisition of Blair that this is the kind of ball player that a club picks up when they are serious about challenging for a divisional title, a guy who's certainly had the winning tradition when you consider the 2 clubs that he previously played for. 3 balls and a strike. Played against the Reds in the 1970 World Series while performing for Baltimore. An 8 Gold Glove winner, this man. Looking to get on here after Ray Knight's leadoff single, and he hits a high, deep drive back into left field. Bill Robinson goes to the warning track. Blair has hit a home run. His second official National League at bat hammers one over the left field wall with Ray Knight scoring ahead of him to give the Reds a 3-1 lead. And boy, you talk about a guy happy. A grin from ear to ear for Paul Blair as he takes Candelaria deep and the entire Reds contingent out of the dugout to welcome the newest member of this ball club who makes a quick contribution. So Cincinnati leading by 2 runs on Blair's first National League home run, and here's Mike Lacasse. He takes the ball. Curveball hangs high. 2 balls and no strikes. Lacasse with a single and 2 times up. Swing and a miss. Blair did not hit a home run. Or let's see, he appeared in 5 games or 5 at-bats with the Yankees this season. Here's a swing and a miss. Last year in 75 games for New York, hit 2 home runs. The year before that in 83 games, hit 4. That's his 133rd career home run. And his first in the National League. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And strike 3 call. Lacasse upset. That'll be another strikeout for Candelaria, running his game total to 4. With 1 out, Ken Griffey steps in as we go back to the top of the Reds batting order. And an active Pittsburgh bullpen for the first time this afternoon. Right-hander Ed Whitson has started to throw. Griffey takes the curveball, 1 outside. Up and in. All of a sudden, Candelaria is starting to consistently fall behind the hitters here. Behind now to Griffey at 2-0. Kenny has grounded out, flied out, and flied out again. Up for the 4th time. He swings and he misses on the 2-0 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Reds out in front here, 3-1 on a leadoff single by Ray Knight, a 2-run home run by Paul Blair. 7 hits in the game now off Candelaria. Griffey fouls the pitch back, and the count goes full. Well, at 7 runs second, and we somewhat questioningly reported to you on the part of the Detroit Tigers. Another foul back by Griffey. 3 hits in the inning for the Reds. Junior Kennedy with a 2-hit afternoon, a double and a single. He was on in the 5th inning through a throwing error by Garner and scored the game's first run. Stretch the pitch. Griffey goes, and Kennedy, protecting the runner, swatted as a pitch away from him and fouled it off, so Kenny will come on back. Nothing underway as yet. Atlanta St. Louis scoreless at the end of 1. That's the only other National League game underway. Phil Necro against Pete Vukovich. Down at L.A., it's going to be Grimsley versus Sutcliffe. Ruthven against Blue, a couple of 6-game winners as the Phils take on the Giants in the closeout to that series. There's a throw to first. And New York at San Diego, Scott will oppose Jones. Kennedy grounds ball left side, off the glove of Foley into center field. Griffey's going to try to go to third, and he'll be in ahead of the throw that goes over the third base bag, and Kenny will come out in to score. Omar Marino throwing one over Phil Garner at third. Griffey comes in to score, and Cincinnati leads by 3. That's been scored, a base hit for Kennedy. And the throwing error, as Marino shows some poor judgment there. He had not much chance at all, if any at all, to get Kenny at third base. But making the quick hurry throw, and Griffey comes in to score the 4th Cincinnati run, and Kennedy will be awarded third base on the overthrow.
Marty, he has about as much chance of throwing him out as I did from up here. Kenny was already in his slide almost when he let the ball fly, and we'll take him any way we can get him.
Thank you very much. We certainly will. Infield now draws in with another run home in a 3-run Red 6th inning. Kennedy standing at third with 1 gone, and Davey Concepcion at the plate. Davey swings and pops it up. Going back is Stinnett. Coming in Parker. Stinnett calls, and he's got it for the 2nd out. Two away in the inning for George Foster. Slide out, popped up, and was on through a throwing error back in the last inning. So the Reds have scored 3 times and lead 4-1. With 2 down, Kennedy at third base. Foster swatting at an insect flying around in his face, and Candelaria had just started into his windup. Now the pitch. Taken up and in for ball one. Pitch. Swung on, ground ball by the diving Garner. Base hit left field. Kennedy is home. It's now 5-1 on the 10th Cincinnati hit. And here comes Chuck Cantor. That's going to be all for John Candelaria. After being frustrated in their first 4 turns at the plate, standing a total of 6 men on, the Reds have taken advantage of some opportunities presented to them by some shoddy Pittsburgh defense. In addition to that, the 2-run home run by Paul Blair, and it's a 5-1 lead as Candelaria leaves and right-hander Ed Whitson enters stage left. We've got a break in the action here in the 6th inning, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hello, Gene Lehman, Riverside Pool.
Chuck Cantor is called on a right-hander now to relieve left-hander John Candelaria. It's Ed Whitson, who was a losing pitcher here in a relief role on Friday night. Whitson carries a record of 1 win and 2 losses, and in 9 appearances, 8 in relief, has posted an earned run average of 4.80. The inning started with a single to left field by Ray Knight. Paul Blair then hit his first home run in the National League over the left field wall, making it 3-1 after Lacoste struck out. Griffey singled. Junior Kennedy shot a single off the glove of Tim Foley. And when Marino picked up the ball, he tried to throw Griffey out at third base and threw it over third, with Griffey coming in to score and Kennedy going to third, and Foster has brought Junior in with a base hit to left. Johnny Bench takes a strike. So George has picked up his 29th RBI of the season. That's the 7th man to hit in what has been a 4-run inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. On a 1-1 pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 to count on Johnny Bench. He swings and hits a fly ball into right center field. Dave Parker tracking it, waiting, and makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But a big productive 6 for Cincinnati. 4 runs on 5 base hits, 1 error and 1 left, and at the end of 5.5, it's the Reds 5 and the Pirates 1.
We went to a busy supermarket and asked shoppers why they bought
to your bank credit card. Mike Lacoste with a 4-run lead as the Pirates come call in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's Tim Foley to start it off. Foley's walked and lined to shortstop. Pirates have had only 3 hits. Swung on and fouled away. Here's a pitching line on John Candelaria. He went 5 2/3 innings, surrendering 10 base hits and 5 runs, 3 of them earned. Struck out 4 and walked 2. The pitch to Foley, and that's strike 2 call. Jim Rooker throwing in the Pirate bullpen, but Jim has been on the disabled list since the season started. They have not yet activated him, although we understand they're very close to doing just that. 1 and 2 on Foley. Parker on deck, Milner in the hole. 5-1. The Reds lead the Pirates. Pitch. Ground ball foul off third. Lacoste sending it in, and Foley line drive, right field. Griffey picked it right off the AstroTurf and makes a nice play on Foley's sinking line drive in shallow right. Here's Parker with 1 down. Dave is 0 for 2. Reds are scheduled to fly out of here at 7 o'clock or thereabouts tonight. Be a charter flight and be back into Cincinnati sometime around 8. 1 ball and no strikes on Parker. The win today would give him 4 out of 5 on this trip. And a tie for the time being. Foul off the left side and well back into the seats. We'll be making up that, or completing that suspended game on Monday, July the 23rd, prior to a scheduled single game at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. Lacoste 1-1. Parker taking up and away. 2-1. Mike had a string of 8 straight batters set down broken in the last inning when Phil Garner took him out of here to left center. That briefly tied the game up at 1-1 before the Reds exploded for 4 runs in the top of this inning. Blowing outside, 3 balls and a strike. Lacoste back on top of the pitching rubber. Parker waiting on the 3-1 delivery, and here it is. Foul away. Phil Garner has 2 of the Pirate hits, a single and the home run, and Ed Ott has the other one. Lacoste had a bit of problem with his control in the first inning, walking a couple of batters, but since that time has not walked anybody. As far as he can go, it's Big Dave Parker. And ball 4 is down and in, and Dave is on with 1 away. Hey, the Reds and Bob Braun will be teaming up next Friday at Riverfront. Reds players will be putting on a clinic. That'll get underway at 11 a.m., and then the Bob Braun Show follows. It'll be airing live from the stadium at noon. The tickets are free. Limit 6 to a request. You want to be there, send to Reds Bob Braun Day, Box 661, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45201. Please enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope with your order. John Milner with Dave Parker at first and 1 out. Ball to him. Johnny Bench appears to be a little bit concerned about the way things are beginning to unfold. He goes out to talk with Mike. Well, Lacoste has now walked 3 and has had only 1 strikeout. Pirates trailing by 4 runs. They've been out hit 10-3. They've out-arrowed us 3-0. Back to Milner comes the right-hander. Swung on, ground ball, base hit, right field. Parker takes the turn. He's on his way to third. And Pittsburgh has him on the corners on a walk and a single. Bill Robinson will be the batter, but not before pitching coach Bill Fisher goes to the mound.
Marty, Mike Lacoste is having a little groin trouble in his last start, and I wonder if maybe it isn't bothering him a little bit right now. It doesn't look like he's coming through the ball like he was earlier. Bill Fisher out talking to him, and Bill Robinson to drop us a little double play again.
0-2-3.
Well, Fish heading on back to the dugout, and Bill Robinson will be the Pirate hitter. Parker walked with 1 down and scoots around to third on Milner's bouncing ball single to right. Robinson has flied to right field twice, and here's a guy you don't want to make a mistake pitch on because he can put him right back in it with 1 swing of the bat. He's hit 7 home runs already. Strike to him and a good pitch on the inside part of the plate. Checks and deals, swung on and popped up. Got Robinson to hit the ball in the air on the infield, and there's Junior Kennedy to gather it in for out number 2. Oh, with 2 away, Ed Ott will come on. We've got a left-hander and a right-hander throwing in our bullpen. Dave Tomlin, the left-hander, and Pedro Borbon, the right-hander. Ott is single and hit it in the air to shortstop. Reds 5, Pittsburgh 1. 2 men out and 2 men on in the home 6. Swung on, fly ball, left center field. Blair and Foster. Foster on the run. Well, it hung up there long enough for George to flag it down, and the Pirate threat goes by the boards. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left on. And at the end of 6, the Reds lead Pittsburgh 5-1. Certain player. Well, we move on to the 7th inning, and the only man who did not bat in the 6th, Arturo DeFreitas, will be leading it off against Ed Whitson, and that's to paint the word picture for you. Here's Joe.
All right, Marty, it'll be DeFreitas, Knight, and Blair as the Reds bat here in the 7th, leading by a score of 5-1. They've out-hit the Pirates 10-4. Reds have had some help from the Pittsburgh defense. They have committed 3 errors. Whitson came on in the 6th inning with 2 outs to face Johnny Bench and got John on a fly ball to Parker in right field. John Candelaria started. It's 5 2/3 innings. The Reds with all 10 hits off him. Struck out 4, walked 2, and of the 5 runs, 3 of them were earned. Danny Dreesen will go to the plate to hit for DeFreitas. Dreesen hitting .233 with 5 home runs, 4 home runs, and 18 RBIs. Danny making his 4th appearance as a pinch hitter this year. He's 0 for 3. Dan Dreesen hitting for DeFreitas. Then it'll be Ray Knight and Paul Blair. Waiting on Dreesen to settle in. He's there. And Woodson has the sign from Ed Ott. His first pitch to Dreesen is swung on and lined right by Woodson in the center field, a base hit. That ball going right by Woodson's left shoulder and on into center field. So Dreesen wastes no time at all as he hits the first pitch up the middle for hit number 11 for the Reds. And Ray Knight, the batter. Geronimo on deck. He will hit for Paul Blair. Knight started that 4-run 6th inning with a single to left field. Takes ball 1 from Ed Whitson. Whitson worked an inning and 2/3 Friday night. The Reds getting a run off him and 3 hits. And it's ball 2. 2-0 tonight as he checks with Ron Plaza, the third base coach. Whitson sets, delivers. Knight swings, lines to right field. That's a base hit. Dreesen to second. He'll hold there. Parker guns it back to the infield. So back-to-back singles off the bats of Danny Dreesen, and Ray Knight gets things started for the Reds here in the 7th inning. Cesar Geronimo will be the batter for Paul Blair. Geronimo making his first appearance as a pinch hitter. Overall, Cesar hitting .194 with 7 RBIs, 3 doubles, and 2 triples. Dreesen at second base, Ray Knight at first. Ray's second base hit of the game. The Reds with 12 now. Woodson delivers to Geronimo, a check swing and a slow it inside the ball. Reds scoring a run in the fifth, picking up 4 in the sixth. Pirates 1 run coming in the fifth inning on Garner's home run. 1-0 to Geronimo, down low, 2 balls, no strikes. No activity in the Pirates bullpen at the moment. Whitson delivers. Geronimo swings and misses a high fastball. 2-1. Waiting on the sign. Whitson, now the stretch. The 2-1. Chief swings on it and pops it up in the infield. Tim Foley is the shortstop waiting on it, and Tim has it. Infield fly rule being called. 1 away, and Mike Lacoste the batter. Mike 1 for 3, and right now we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
I can't believe it.
The $1,000 winners are still doing it on WLW Cincinnati.
It's the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers for a big weekend series at Riverfront Stadium next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Be on hand.
All right, Mike Lacoste at the plate squares the bunt and fouls. Mike singled in the second inning, grounded the third and the fourth, and was called out on strikes in the sixth. Grayson second base. Knight at first with 1 out. Woodson pitch. Lacoste bunts third base side. Good bunt. Garner up, throwing to Stennon at first, covering. Oh, the sacrifice works as Lacoste is out 5-4. Grayson moves on to third. Ray Knight to second. 2 away, and Ken Griffey the batter. Let's see if Chuck Tanner walks Ken Griffey, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So an intentional pass to Griffey will load the bases for Junior Kennedy. Junior 3 for 4 this afternoon. He has been on all 4 times to the plate. Has scored 2 of the 5 runs. So an intentional walk goes to Ken Griffey to load the bases. He Griff at first, Knight at second, and Dreesen at third with 2 outs. This is ball 4, and Griffey makes his way down to first base. The base is loaded for Junior Kennedy. All Junior has done is doubled in the first inning, singled to center in the third. Was on into a throwing error by Garner in the fifth, and singled to center again in the sixth. Junior 3 for 4. Missing 7 hits in the 3 games here at Pittsburgh. Whitson works from the windup. He delivers, and Kennedy takes it under the knees of ball. Pirate outfield to the right for Junior. He swings and fouls straight back. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike to Kennedy with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Ed Whitson, a right-hander, delivers. High and inside. 2 balls to strike. Reds leading at 5-1. They bat here in the 7th inning. Whitson delivers the 2-1. Kennedy swings and misses a fastball. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Kennedy. Woodson delivers the 2-2, and that's inside as Kennedy jumps back from the plate. Well, full count now with 2 out. The runners will be moving. Griffey at first, Knight at second, Dreesen at third. Payoff on the way. Kennedy takes ball 4 down low, and Ed Ott wanted that pitch. Nevertheless, another run scores, and the Reds lead at 6-1. An RBI for Junior Kennedy, his third of the year. And the batter will be Dave Concepcion. Andy Dreesen scores from third. Ray Knight moves to third, Griffey to second, and Kennedy to first. Dave Concepcion. Dave is 1 for 4. He had an infield single in the first inning, grounded to short in the third, pulled out on strikes in the fifth, and popped to Stennett at second in the sixth. Pitch to Davey is on the outside edge. A call to strike. 6-1, Reds leading. Whitson, the 0-1 to David. Pitching low and outside, breaking ball. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Whitson has his sign, the 1-1. Swung on, line foul, down in the seats along the right field line. A ball, 2 strikes to Concepcion. Dave with 24 RBIs and 5 home runs. George Foster has won this afternoon. He now has 29 for the year. Woodson shaking off his sign from Ott, and now the 1-2. Concepcion takes strike 3, and Davey not happy with that call at all. Davey right up in Dick Tremblay's face, and he just threw Concepcion out of the ball game. But boy, I would imagine that David got his words in, and Tremblay has just thrown Concepcion out of the ball game. So we'll probably see Rick Auerbach at shortstop, but Davey got his words in. So in the inning for the Reds, they pick up 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors. 3 runners left on base, and at the middle of the 7th, the Reds 6, the Pirates 1. In the 7th will send up Stennett Garner and in all probability a pinch hitter for Winston. Several changes in the Reds lineup. I mentioned Dave Concepcion thrown out of the ball game. Rick Auerbach replaces Davey at shortstop. Geronimo stays in the game. He's in center field, and Danny Dreesen remains in the game. He's at first base. The Reds leading 6-1 as Rennie Stennett leads it off for the Pirates in the 7th. Stennett 0 for 2. He has bounced into a double play and a fly ball to center in his 2 times up. Pirates have had 4 hits off Mike McCoss. 2 in the 2nd inning, 1 in the 5th. That's the 1 run. Phil Griner's 2nd home run of the year. And John Milner singled in the 6th. Romo throwing in the Pirate bullpen. Waiting on Ray Knight to cut to third base. Ray to the Reds dugout to get some sunglasses as the sun breaks through here at Three Rivers for the first time this afternoon. right, Mike Lacoste ready to work on Rennie Stennett. He delivers, and Stennett takes it inside a ball. Mike has walked 3, has struck out 1. The 1-0 to Stennett, and taken for a called strike, and the count evens 1-1. Koss looking for his 4th straight win of the year. The 1-1. Stennett swings on it and fouls down the right side, well back into the seats. Count goes a ball, 2 strikes to Stennett. One-two delivery. Bennett swings a little chopper first base side, and I think they're saying, what's Stennett doing? The ball's a fair ball. I don't know what else you could say about it. So Stennett bounces to Dreesen and stands at home plate arguing with Dick Tremblay, the plate umpire, thinking it was foul. A one away as Dreesen makes the play unassisted. I'll make that Mike Lacoste unassisted. 1 out, and here's Garner. A pitch to him, line and through the hole into left field, a base hit. So Garner with his 2nd hit of the game, the 5th for the Pirates. Oh, hit that ball hard. Playing Knight and Arbach into left field. And Mike Eastler will go to the plate to hit for Ed Woodson. Mike Eastler, a left-handed batter. Eastler has been to the plate 6 times this year, looking for his first hit. Lacoste delivers to him, and it's swung on and fouled off to the left. Outfield about straight away. The 0-1 to Eastler. Swung on and flying to left field, a base hit. Eastler's first hit of the year. A 2 on with 1 out, and we're going to get activity down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Omar Marino will step in. Marino 0 for 3. Grounded to second, a fly ball to left, and a fly ball to center, and his 3 times up. And we'll see who they get scoring down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Pirates now with 6 hits off Mike Lacoste. Doug Bear will start throwing in the Reds bullpen. Lacoste the stretch and the pitch. Marino takes the strike. Omar came into the game hitting .333. Marino away from the plate. Now steps back in. Lacoste checks in with bench. As the sign. The 0-1, Marino takes it down low, and it's count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Tomlin and Doug Bear throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Romo throwing in the Pirate jack. A 1-1. Marino swings and fouls. The ball, 2 strikes to Omar Marino. One ball, 2 strikes. Garner at second base. Eastler at first with 1 out. Reds leading 6-1. Mike Lacoste. The stretch. He delivers the 1-2. Marino check swing, and they check with third base umpire. Count even 2-2. They, of course, throwing out the safe sign that he did not swing. Tim Foley on deck. Across to the belt. The 2-2. Marino swings, fly ball, right center field. Geronimo and Griffey will make the play, and the move going towards center. A two away, and Tim Foley will be the batter. Foley has walked, lines to short, and a fly ball to right in his 3 times the plate. Griffey more or less robbing him of a base hit in the 6th inning. And he's taking one right off the top of the carpet. Across sets and delivers. Foley takes the strike, a breaking ball. On his first and second lead, the 0-1 to Foley. 0 inside, the count evens, the ball a strike. Ryder leads at second, Eastwood first. Count a ball a strike to Tim Foley. Across sets and delivers. Foley takes it off the plate and outside. 2-1. The big man on deck, Dave Parker. The 2-1 delivery. Swung on line to center field. That's a base hit. Here comes Gardner. He'll score easily, and it's a 6-2 game. Tim Foley picks up his 14th RBI of the year. That's 7th hit for the Pirates off Mike Lacoste. Here comes John McNamara, and that might be it for Mike Lacoste. Dave Tomlin throwing along with Doug Bear. Reds leading 6-2. McNamara just out of the mound, and we're going to see Dave Tomlin come on to face Dave Parker. Well, Mike Lacoste worked 6 2/3 innings this afternoon, allows 7 hits, struck out 1, walked 3, and the 2-run earned runs, and the runners on base right now are his responsibility. So we have a break in the action here at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. The Reds leading the Pirates 6-2 in the 7th inning. And we'll be back after this word. All right, Dave Tomlin to the mound in relief of Mike Lacoste. Tomlin 1-1 on the year, making his 17th appearance. He has a 281 earned run average in 17 innings, or in 16 innings. He has allowed 17 hits, has struck out 9, and has walked 2. Well, he will be facing Dave Parker, runners at first and second, with 2 out and a run in. Parker 0 for 2 this afternoon. He walked his last time up against Mike Lacoste. The Reds leading 6-2. The big man at the plate, Dave Parker. Doug Bear continues to throw down in the Reds bullpen. Elsewhere in the National League, only one game going at the moment, and that's Atlanta at St. Louis. And the Braves leading the Cardinals 1-0 after 3.5 innings. Over in the American League, Cleveland, Minnesota. The Twins leading 2-0 after 4. After 7 at Toronto in the first of the doubleheader. Toronto leading the Texas Rangers 2-1. Boston leading Oakland 7-0 after 3 at Boston. New York 3, California 0 after 3.5 at New York. All right, Tomlin working to Parker. He's blowing outside with his first pitch, ball 1. Detroit leading Milwaukee 4-2 after 5.5 innings at Detroit. 1 ball, no strikes to Dave Parker. Tomlin the stretch and the pitch. Parker takes, blowing outside, 2 balls, no strikes. John Milner on deck. Eastler at second base, Foley at first with 2 away. Tomlin sets and the 2-0. Swung on and missed with a breaking pitch. 2-1. Bench hangs the sign. Tomlin to the belt. He delivers, and that's swung on and missed, and count evens 2-2 to Dave Parker. Parker going to the on-deck circle to get the rosin bag from John Milner. Parker back to the plate. The stretch by Tomlin. And the 2-2. Swung on, ground ball. Arbach deep in the hole, throwing to Kennedy, and he throws wild. The ball's rolling into foul territory down the left field line. 1 run scores, reaching up for the ball, and he's running it back to the infield, so we get a base hit will be credited to Parker, and an error charge to Rick Arbach. So it's a 6-3 ball game. First error of the game. Rick Arbach going into the hole, fielding the ball, and going to the right of the second base bank. Junior Kennedy tried to get to it, but couldn't. So credit Parker with a base hit. No run batted in. Error charge to Arbach. Allows Eastwood to score from second base. And a 6-3 game. And here's Bill Robinson. Parker at second. Foley at third. 2 away. 2 runs in. And John Milner steps to the plate. Milner 1 for 2 and a walk. Stretch by Tomlin. The pitch. Milner takes low ball. Pirates now with 8 hits in the game. The pitch. Milner takes high, and it's 2 balls, no strike. Delivery. Milner looks at a strike, a fastball, and the count goes 2-1. Inning started off with Sennett bouncing to Mike Lacoste, and then Garner a single, Eastler a single, Marino a fly ball to right center, Foley a single, and Parker's infield single. Milner swings and fouls straight back, a fastball, count even 2-2. The stretch, the pitch. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Good play by Bench. He had to dig it out. And a full count now to John Milner. Bill Robinson, the on-deck batter. Tomlin now down behind the mound, rubbing up the baseball. Milner away from the plate. Now Tomlin back to the pitching rubber, and Milner back into the batter's box. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Tomlin set and delivers. Milner swings, ground ball. Greason at first has it. He'll take it himself, and that's the inning. Ball hit sharply, but right at Danny Dreesen. In the inning for Pittsburgh, they get 2 runs on 4 hits. 1 Cincinnati error, 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 7, the Reds 6, the Pirates 3.
Feeling real good, having another pet today, like I knew that I would. Seems like lately I've been having quite a few. Thought I'd like to take the time to share one with you. Oh, come on and step away. Come on and have a happy day. Come on and have a happy day.
Well, the totals for 7 innings show the Reds 6 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. The Pirates 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors. New pitcher on the mound for Pittsburgh. To tell you about him, here's Marty.
Thank you, Joe. The new pitcher is right-hander Enrique Romo, formerly of the Seattle Mariners. No wins and 2 losses. An earned run average of 476. Romo has found a little bit tougher to get hitters out here in the National League than he did in the American League. He'll be facing in the Reds' 8th inning Foster, Bench, and Greason. Pitching line on Mike Lacasse, 6 2/3 innings. He gave up 7 base hits and 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Struck out 1 and walked 3, and Mike, of course, in line to pick up now his 4th victory of the season. Foster is flat out, popped up, reached on an error, and singled a run across. Ed Whitson working an inning and a third for the Pirates, giving up 2 hits and a run with a strikeout and 2 walks, one of them intentional. And Romo becomes their 3rd pitcher. Here's a pitch to Foster, and it's taken for a strike. Change-up in there for strike 1 call. Romo taking a lot of time, and as you know, you don't do that with Foster at the plate. He backs away, but just as quickly gets back in. No balls and 1 strike. Reds leading 6-3 in the 8th inning. The pitch, high and inside. 1-1. Crowd of 10,253 on hand this afternoon as the sun comes out very bright here in Pittsburgh. Romo sights a sign, the wind, the pitch. Foster takes high, another off-speed. 2-1 to count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Romo wants a new baseball as he throws it in and gets one from plate umpire Dick Tremblay. Romo sights the sign, the wind, the pitch, and Foster swings and he misses on a slow curveball. He was trying to hit that baby out of the stadium. Well, the count even to the Reds left fielder, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Foster leveling the bat. Romo into the windup, his break-even pitch, and Foster swings and drives it deep but foul down the left side and well back into the seat. Cubs and the Astros underway. Chicago scoreless in the top of the 1st in Houston. Doug Bear running in now from the bullpen, so apparently he's going to be on the mound when the Pirates bat in the bottom of the inning. Strike 3 swinging. Got him with a curveball. We'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
$25,000. You might win it. Listen to WLW Cincinnati.
It's the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers for a big weekend series at Riverfront Stadium next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Be on hand.
Johnny Bench, first pitch hitting, hits a one-hopper back to the mound, and Romo almost handcuffed John Milner with that throw. As Bench bounces out pitcher to first, and I'll tell you, Milner shaking his head now and comes off with that first baseman's mitt as he heads on back to his position. Romo threw, as they say in baseball, a real seed to first base, and it was all John Milner could do to come up with it off of his right hip. Danny Dreesen up for the second time. He had a pinch hit single to begin the 7th inning off of right-hander Ed Whitson. Danny batting .242. Well, facing Romo for the first time with 2 out and the bases empty in the 8th inning. Dreesen looks at a strike. That's taken outside. Count evens to the Reds first baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a curve that stays inside, and Dreesen out in front, 2-1. Most of the scoring in this game coming fairly late. It was 0-0 at the end of 4 and only 1-1 through 5. When the Reds got 4 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th, and Pittsburgh got 2 in the 7th inning. Strike 2 call. I'll even on the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Romo goes to the rosin bag now, looking back in to catch a red hot. Dreesen looking at a straightaway Pirate outfield. And that one swung on and foul. Romo coming sidearm with the 2-2 pitch to Dreesen. Pirates had high hopes when they got this guy to really provide them with what they thought would be possibly the best bullpen in the National League. And, well, with the likes of Kent DeColvey and Grant Jackson down there. But Romo has had a hard go of it here in the first month plus of the season. Danny now walking away from the plate. I think there was some concern shown by both Russ Nixon and Ron Plaza that maybe Danny was having a problem with that foot again. Gets back in there, and the pitch is taken. Ball 3. Full count. Well, if Dreesen gets on, Ray Knight will be at the plate. Foster is struck out. Bench is grounded back to the mound. Here comes a payoff pitch, and Dreesen swings and pops it up, but out of play, behind the plate. Cincinnati leading the Pirates 6-3. Final game of the road trip for the Reds. Back home tomorrow night against the San Diego Padres with Moscow to oppose Gaylord Terry. Swung on and hit deep to right center field. Parker at the wall. It's out of here for a home run. Looked like Danny hit a breaking ball right up in his eyes, and boy, did he ever take care of it. As he hammers his 5th home run of the season, and the Reds get one of those runs back and now lead by 4 at 7-3. Second Cincinnati home run in the game. Paul Blair got us going back in the 6th inning with a 2-run homer off Candelaria. Here's Ray Knight, who has had a couple of hits, both singles, and he scored a run. 4-1 inside. Well, Danny Dreesen picking up right where he left off before having to leave the lineup with a foot problem. Pitches low for a ball, 2-0. He had, of course, 3 hits a week ago Friday night in the opening game of that series against Houston at home before having to sit down. And now coming back here today, getting a pinch hit single and now a home run. In there for a call strike, 2-1. Ray has jumped his batting average up some 6 points on the strength of this 2-for-4 game. Hitting now at .319, and I'd like to join Junior Kennedy, who has had 3 hits in the game. He swings and hits it down the right field line, slicing out of play as Parker gets chase. Well, the Reds with 14 hits here Friday night, relegated to only a trio yesterday, but bouncing back with 13 so far in this one. Off of 3 different Pittsburgh pitchers, Candelaria, Whitson, and now Romo. Swung on and hit to right field. Parker toward the line, now breaks in quickly and makes the catch. Dave momentarily misjudging it, but he makes the play, and in the inning for the Reds, a run on a hit. At the end of 7.5, Cincinnati 7 and Pittsburgh 3.
Right now, at this very moment.
Well, as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, we've got Doug Bear on now to try and finish things off here against the Pirates. Tomlin goes to third of an inning, allows a base hit. They're 2-0 with a .318 earned run average. This is his 13th appearance on the season. He'll be facing Bill Robinson, then Ed Ott, and then Rennie Stennett. Robinson 0 for 3 with 2 fly balls to right field and a pop to second. First pitch in for a strike to Robinson. Bill pops it up on a bunt attempt. Johnny Bench strikes back, and the ball falling onto the screen behind the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Doug with a look into Bench. And in with a pitch to Bill Robinson. Swung on and hit foul. Out of here to left field. Bear worked in the opening game of this series here on Friday night, pitched an inning in 2/3, allowing a base hit and no runs. He recorded a save for winning pitcher Dave Tomlin, the 6th save so far recorded by Doug. High and inside for a ball. Reds up by 4 runs at 7-3. Pitching, swinging and fouling it back is Bill Robinson. No score now at the end of 1 complete at Houston. Make that an inning and a half. And Mike Krukow going for the Cubs against Joe Niekro as Robinson strikes out on a breaking pitch. That is only the 2nd strikeout recorded by Cincinnati pitching. In the game, Mike Lacasse had 1 strikeout, and with 1 gone, here's Ed Ott. In St. Louis, the Atlanta Braves trailing the Cardinals by a score of 4-1. And, of course, the 3 West Coast games are not yet underway. That swings and misses. Ed with a single and 3 times. Takes the fastball up and away from there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Swing and a miss on a good breaking pitch down and into Ott. In the 9th inning, the Reds will be sending up Cesar Geronimo, Doug Bear, and Ken Griffey to face Enrique Romo. Up high and outside as the count evens on Ott at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The way it stands right now, Macon Lacasse would be the winning pitcher, and Candelaria would take the loss. Here's a high pop-up Off of third, over is Ray Knight near the Cincinnati dugout, and he's got it. 2 out. Rennie Stennett will be the 2-out hitter for the Pirates. Has hit into a double play, has fly to center, and has bounced out to the pitcher. He hit a ball leading off the last inning that he thought was a foul ball, but plate umpire Dick Tremblay ruling it fair all the way. Lacasse went over to the first base side to pick it up and took it right out of the bag to get an easy out because Stennett never even left the batter's box. High and inside. They're trying to set him down in order in the 8th. Swung on, liner into right center, base hit. Ken Griffey goes into the alley to cut it off and wheels the throw back to the infield. Stennett with a 2-out hit. 9th of the game for Pittsburgh. That'll bring on Phil Garner. Garner's had an excellent afternoon at the plate. Cannot say the same for his work in the field. He's committed a couple of throwing errors, both of them in 1 inning, the 5th, when the Reds got their first run. But as a hitter, has singled, homered, and singled again. He's driven in 1 and scored 2. Strike call. Now with Romo scheduled to be up next, Manny Sanguillen with a bat in hand is racing in from the Pirate bullpen. Garner fouls it off, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Danny Dreesen playing behind Stennett at first base. Here's a check by Bear. The pitch, curveball, low and away as Bench moves quickly off to his right. Come up with it. Now the 1-2, and that is swung on and hit well into left center field. Geronimo, however, is going to be there and make the catch. 8th inning numbers for the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And as we go to the 9th, the Reds lead Pittsburgh 7-3.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real love so only one deal will do. For the real beloved soul, take back no other soul. For the real beloved.
You have to admit, one of the best ways to finish listening to a good 9 innings of Cincinnati Reds baseball is to finish off a nice cold Stroh's beer. The 7th inning is no longer the only inning to stretch. Take the Stroh's stretch now. Stroh's beer for the any inning stretch.
For the real beloved soul. Take back no other soul. For the real beloved. From one beloved to another soul.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, we move to the top of the 9th inning, and Enrique Romo still on the mound for Pittsburgh. It'll be Cesar Geronimo to start things off for Cincinnati. He entered the game in the 7th inning, set up the pinch hit for Paul Blair, and popped up. Remained in the game, of course, to play center field. Romo serving up a 2-out solo home run in the 8th inning to Danny Dreesen. Here's a pitch to Geronimo, a bouncer over the mound, but fielded by the shortstop Foley, and he throws him out. Oh, with that Dreesen home run, the Reds now have a trio of players tied for club leadership. Dreesen, Foster, and Concepcion all have hit 5 homers. One away in the 9th. Doug Bear will come on and bat for himself. They're 0 for 2 on the season. Romo pitches, and Bear takes ball 1 high. in the last of the ninth inning for Pittsburgh. They'll be sending up a pinch hitter for the pitcher. Then we'll go back to the top for Omar Marino and Tim Foley. Reds leading 7-3. Now to hit the Pirates 13-9. Call strike. One pitch. Just high for ball two. Well, if the Reds win this game, it'll cap off a fine road trip. 4 wins and only 1 loss, taking 2 in Chicago, swing and a miss, and taking 2 out of 3 here in Pittsburgh. And will assure themselves of going home with at least a half a game lead in the National League West. And if the Cubs can beat Houston this afternoon, a game and a half advantage as we open up tomorrow night against San Diego. Here's strike 3 call. Second strikeout for the right-hander Romo. Ken Griffey with 2 outs. Kenny has gone 1 for 4. Had a single in the 6th inning, eventually came around to score, and then drew an intentional walk in the 7th. Ball to him. Swung on and drilled into right center field. That's going to be a gapper between Marino and Parker. Kenny heads towards second base, and he'll settle right there with a 2-out double. Well, Romo's problems in each inning have come with 2 men out. The home run by Dreesen in the 8th after Foster and Bench had gone down, and now the double by Griffey here in the 9th with 2 away. Kenny's 10th 2-base hit of the season. He and Joe Morgan have each had 2 doubles, and that brings up Junior Kennedy. And, well, another super afternoon for this man. A double, 2 singles, has been on through a throwing error and drew a bases-loaded walk in the 7th inning, so Kennedy has been on 5 straight times. Takes the ball. Romo looking back at second, Griffey leading, and the curve is in for a call strike. Kennedy now batting at .359. Total of 7 hits in the series, 4 Friday night, 3 today. Inside, ball 2. Oh, really, with the kind of play we've gotten out of him at second base and the way he's been swinging the bat, this club has not missed Joe Morgan at all in the time that Joe has had to remain out of the starting lineup because of that bruised right thigh. Here's a high chop, slowly hit towards second. Stennett plays it on the bounce. Quick throw to first in time. They finally get Kennedy out. And that's all for the Reds in the 9th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And after 8 1/2, the Reds 7, the Pirates 3.
What makes us what you've been looking for?
Happy Mother's Day from Frisch's. No mom should have to cook on her day. Treat yours to a delicious meal at Frisch's. The whole family will enjoy the big selection and superb service Frisch's is famous for. Make this Mother's Day an extra special one. Relax and dine with the good people at Frisch's.
Come see the good people at Frisch's. For Frisch's has so much more. Frisch's has so much more.
We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. Doug Beer with a 4-run lead as he tries to close out the Pittsburgh Pirates and give the Reds their second victory in the 3-game set. Manny Sanguillen will be the pinch hitter for Enrique Romo. Sanguillen batting .250, 3 for 12, 2 doubles, no runs batted in. Second pinch hitter used by Chuck Tanner. Mike Easler batted for Ed Whitson in the 7th inning and had his first hit of the season. Sanguillen swings and drills one into left center field. Geronimo should make the play on that one, and he does. 1 out. Oh, 1 pitch, all that is required to retire Sanguillen. That brings up Omar Marino. Omar has bounced to second, fly to left, line to center, and fly to right. So he's 0 for 4. Don't forget to stay tuned on most of these same stations after the completion of the game. Joe Nuxall will be in the dugout for our Star of the Game show. We'll be talking with Paul Blair, who is the most happy fella today after hitting his first National League home run. And I'll return with a look at all the scores of all the games in Big League Baseball today on our Scores and Comments program. Blair gets a strike in. That's high and inside, 1-1. Each team using 3 pitchers in the game. Pirates using Candelaria, Whitson, and Romo. The Reds countering with Lacasse, Tomlin, and Doug Beer. Off the plate, 2 balls a strike. Swung on and hit the center. Geronimo drifting back, turning in, waiting, has it, 2 out. So Tim Foley with 2 men out and nothing going on for the Pirates. Drove home a run in the 7th inning with a single, 1 for 3.
That's a point of information. Don't bad or not was not really saved in this game. There was a 4-run lead, 3 runs at the top of the situation.
Well, they're waiting now for the security men here at the stadium to remove a young fan from the field. Now Foley in with Dave Parker on deck. Pitch is too much inside, a fastball. Well, the Reds started this road trip a game and a half behind Houston. In on him again, 2 balls and no strikes. And we'll be going home with a lead of a half game and possibly a game and a half. So any way you cut it, it has been highly productive. Strike 1 call as Doug pours in the letter high fastball. Foley hoping to get on here. Takes the ball outside, 3-1. Final in the American League, Game 1 up at Toronto. Texas has beaten the Blue Jays 8-3. 3-1 pitch, ball 4, and Parker's going to bat with 2 down. Parker's had an infield single and a walk, 1 for 3 officially. Well, Pittsburgh still alive in the 9th inning by virtue of the 2-out walk to Foley. And let's see how Doug Beer and Dave Parker fare here. Stretch the pitch. Swung on and popped in the air. Left field. Foster waiting for it to come down. And this one belongs to the Reds. In the ninth for Pittsburgh, no runs, no hits, and one left. Final score this afternoon in the wrap-up to the road trip, the Reds 7 and the Pirates 3. And we'll be back in just a moment.
In 1929, Reds pitcher Ray Culp earned a reputation as a merciless bench jockey. But one day, while taunting Chicago's Hack Wilson from the dugout, he got unexpected action. Wilson, a base runner at the time, Amy Reese, bringing you the...
That kicked it off with that two-run home run by newcomer Paul Blair after Ray Knight had reached Candelaria for a leadoff single. The totals in the game, 7 runs, 14 hits, an error, and 13 left for the Reds, while Pittsburgh had 3 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors, and they stranded 9. Lacoste, the winning pitcher, his 4th without a defeat, as Mike went the first 6 2/3 before turning it over to Dave Tomlin. Doug Bear finished up. Doug does not get a save, by the way, and the loss was pinned on Candelaria, his record 2-2.